If you are afraid to do face gua sha because every time you do, you break out, then this video is for you. I'm gonna break down my top 4 reasons why this might be happening. Then I'll share my gua sha techniques that help acne heal faster, so stick to the end. Hello again, I'm Sandra. I'm a traditional Chinese medicine practitioner, and I actually specialize in using TCM to treat dermatology conditions like acne. A lot of my patients use face gua sha, and I find that it helps acne and pimples that have already arrived at the surface clear faster, which is important because the shorter the lifespan of a pimple, the less severe the hyperpigmentation that is left behind. So let's start with an important note. When we train as Chinese medicine practitioners to do gua sha, we are taught not to do it in the presence of acne and pimples. Now that's referring to this type of gua sha, which I call traditional gua sha or medical gua sha. This is the original gua sha. When you go to Asia, if you ask for gua sha, this is what people think you're referring to. In the West, well, specifically here in the States, if you say gua sha, people think you're referring to face gua sha because that was likely your first introduction to gua sha. So traditional gua sha, as you can see, it's more vigorous, it's a little more aggressive, so we don't do traditional gua sha when you have acne and pimples. However, face gua sha is much softer, gentler. It doesn't traumatize the skin even if there are closed pimples. It's actually helpful when you have acne and pimples that have surfaced. It helps it clear faster. But it's very, very, very important to note that we don't do face gua sha in the presence of open skin or open pimples. If your pimple has popped and it's oozing blood or pus, no gua sha. If that happens, you can clean the pimple and then cover it with an acne patch. And then you can do face gua sha around it on unaffected areas. Now, those of you who have commented that face gua sha always makes you break out, the first culprit that might be causing your skin to break out after gua sha is actually your products. So there's a few scenarios in this category. The first is where easily reactive, sensitive skin types react to a product. Their skin becomes irritated and therefore inflamed, and that's what sets off a breakout. Now, this type of breakout might be a large raised pimple. It's usually quite red. It can look and feel angry and hot to the touch. It can also occur with a bit of a skin rash around it or somewhere else on the skin. So if a few of these things are happening together, it might be that your skin got irritated by the product. Now, some people have said to me, I usually use this product and don't break out, but then when I did it with gua sha, I broke out. Now that might be because the gua sha brought that product in deeper. That's usually a good thing because we want our herbal support ingredients, our active ingredients, our treatment ingredients to get into the skin where they can do their work. So it's possible that gua sha penetrated that product in deeper and then you had a reaction to it. If that's happening, then obviously stop using the product and try doing gua sha with a more neutral product. For example, a singular oil like squalane, as opposed to a blend of different oils and ingredients. The simpler, the better and more neutral. Now, if that's not you, then we still need to ask, are you using products that are suitable for your skin type, for acne prone, possibly oily skin? The common way to prep your skin for face gua sha is to use a facial hydrating mist paired with an oil. And a lot of people tell me they hate facial oils, but the thing is, when you're doing face gua sha, because of that stroking motion, you need a product that is going to maintain its slip and its glide for that 10, 15, sometimes 20-minute routine that you'll be doing. And creams don't really give you enough glide for that long. So that's why oils are used with gua sha, but you might not be using the oil correctly. So the first thing to look at is, are you using a facial mist first? Are you dampening your skin first before you apply that oil? If the answer is no, then what's possibly happening is the oil is tending to sit on top of your skin, clogging the pores further. But if you dampen your skin first by using a facial mist, this opens your skin to receiving that oil, and then the oil integrates better with your skin. You just need a few drops at a time. I see people applying like full dropperfuls of oil to their face at once. Oh my God, that is way too much. So I apply just 3 to 4 drops at a time to just the face. Now, if I'm including my neck, maybe double that. Then if I feel like I don't have enough glide or slip, then I'll add a few drops more at a time. In addition to that, you need to be using the right types of oil if you have oily, acne-prone skin. If you're using something like a rosehip oil or a coconut oil, these are not very acne friendly. So I would think about oils like black seed oil. I actually love this single black seed oil by Shea Terra. It's very light. It really pulls deep into the skin well so that it's not sitting on top of your skin and giving it an opportunity to clog your pores. Sea Berry by Apoterra is a blend designed for acneic skin, and I find that this one also works well for my patients. So look at the oil you're using and think about if it's appropriate for your skin, and make sure that you are using a facial mist underneath that. Now, a quick note, a lot of people will ask me, okay, after I do gua sha, should I wash the oils off? For most people with neutral skin or non-acneic, non-inflamed skin, I usually say no, because that facial mist plus your oil is like a moisturizer, right? In fact, it's a more customized moisturizer, because think about what's in a cream. A cream is just an emulsion of oil and water. But when you apply facial mist and oil, and you have the ability to control how much you use, it's like you're customizing a cream. It's like a deconstructed cream. So that's why you don't need to wash the oils off. If you're still thinking, hell no, I am not using facial oil on my skin, I know it doesn't work for me, or you just hate oils with passion, what you can do is you can wash the oil off after you finish. Your routine would be cleanse, because you still have to do gua sha on top of clean skin. So you would do cleanse, facial mist, facial oil, a little bit at a time, gua sha, and then you could wash that off. You could wash off the oils and then apply a moisturizer that you prefer to use. Perhaps that's a cream, perhaps that's a light serum. Now, alternative number 2, you could do your gua sha on top of a cleansing oil or a cleansing balm, and that will give you the slip that you need. And then you're gonna wash that off anyway. I'm saying cleansing oil instead of oil cleanser because typically a cleansing oil should emulsify when you apply water to it. That means it starts oily, but then when you splash water on it, it turns milky. Now a cleansing balm is just a little thicker and it comes out like a thick balm as opposed to a more liquidy oil. So you could cleanse first, then apply your cleansing oil or cleansing balm, and then do your gua sha. And then you splash water on it, emulsify it, massage it around till it gets that milky white. Once you're finished with that emulsifying step and you're left with a milky consistency, now you can wash that off. I like to wash it off with a hot, wet towel where I'm really toweling it off. Now, for those of you that really are oil sensitive, you might want to do a second cleanse with a foamy cleanser, one that's not oil-based, to pull the rest of any possible oil residue off. So once your skin is fully clean, then you can continue with your moisturizer of choice that you love and you know works well for your skin and doesn't break you out. Another possible culprit is sheer coincidence. You want to look at the calendar. When you did gua sha, if you broke out afterwards, was that a time when you would typically break out anyway? For example, a lot of people break out 3 days, 7 days before their period or around ovulation. Was that when you did gua sha? There's another possible coincidence, which is that you did gua sha at a time of high stress or peak stress. So we all know that during those times, we tend to break out more. And it also makes sense to reach for gua sha at those times because it's very calming to the nervous system. And it's a really nice thing to do for yourself to bring you back into your center and really feel your body. So gua sha makes sense in those times. But just know that those are also times where we tend to break out anyway. So this final culprit is actually quite common. I actually see this as a positive thing, and that is when you do gua sha and you break out because your skin is actually healing. In that process of healing, you can get what's called a purge breakout. You've probably heard of this before. It's actually not uncommon with other types of acne treatment like tretinoin or Retin-A. So in the case of gua sha, what's happening is the technique is helping to move along the stagnation or clear the stagnation that your skin is burdened with. So gua sha starts to get everything moving again. And the first thing that will happen is the skin will take out the garbage, and that's your purge breakout. So a purge breakout has very specific characteristics. 1, the pimples are small. 2, they usually have some kind of whitehead that expresses easily or opens and pops easily. They tend to come and go quickly versus being stuck in your skin for weeks. And if that's what you're seeing after you do gua sha, then I say keep going because your skin clearing is right around the corner. So if you have acne, I actually like to do face gua sha in a very specific way, and that is to add heat. Now in Chinese medicine, heat moves blood, it moves circulation. So you can bring heat to an already existing pimple to help it clear faster. How do I use heat with gua sha? There are a few ways. Number 1 is simply heat up my gua sha tool. You can dunk it in a cup of hot water, or you can use the tap water and heat up your tool underneath hot water. We are so careful when we do this, right? We're not using water that's too hot and we're always testing our tool before we get it anywhere near our face. Once I determine that it's comfortable enough, then I'll use it somewhere else on my body first, and then finally I will use it on the face. Let me know in the comments if you want a more detailed step-by-step tutorial. Now, the second tool that I really love using for acne, especially for my patients with cystic acne, this is the Lanshin Hot Massager by Terra. You put hot water in it and it becomes heated for up to 20 to 30 minutes, depending on how hot the water is that you put in. The benefit of this tool is that it just lasts longer. You don't have to continue to heat up your tool. So again, we're being very careful. We always test this tool first before we ever bring it to our face. Once you've got a nice comfortable temperature that is not burning, just do Gua Sha, and really does help those cysts heal faster. And that leads me to a third technique. If you don't have a Gua Sha tool or this massager, you can still use this concept. This is a technique that I call mugging, because you use a mug. When you are drinking your hot tea or your hot coffee, first you're gonna make sure that your tea or coffee level is half cup maximum, because we don't want the water level so high in your mug that it could possibly spill out and burn your skin. I tap it on my wrist to see if the heat level is comfortable and appropriate. Find that pimple and press your mug against it. And if it's a little too hot, then light taps first. And then when it's more comfortable, then you can hold it and let that heat penetrate in. And you'll do this for a couple minutes, and you can do this throughout the day. And what that will do is help activate the healing for that zit. And you should find that it will clear faster than usual. All right, we'll end there today. I think that was a lot, right guys? I do really like sharing the wisdom of Chinese medicine outside of my private practice, and I'd like to do that more here. So let me know, and I will do my best to make more content for you guys more often. As always, I want to thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your interest in authentic Chinese medicine and Gua Sha, and I hope that this channel will really serve you and help you understand how you can bring the wisdom of Chinese medicine, not just Gua Sha, but Chinese medicine, into your life so that you can thrive and have the health that you deserve.